Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 119.
On Now You Know.
This episode, like all episodes, is brought to you by our amazing Patreon patrons. And I just want to say, we do this every week, and we've done this every week for 119 weeks.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying, it's consistent. So I want to welcome everyone who's our new subscriber.
Yeah, we got a bunch this week.
This week. I don't know what happened in the YouTube world, but thank you so much for joining us. Let's get into it.
All right. And don't forget that we have a limited edition Now You Know baby onesie, only 50 available. Great for the holidays. So according to Electrek, Tesla is going to be debuting a new class of Tesla battery, the MegaPack.
Right. So we have the Powerwall, we have the Power Pack, and now we have the MegaPack. Now, what makes the MegaPack special? Is it some new kind of battery or something?
Same little batteries in there, but it's bigger, so it has 2,673 kilowatt hours each. That's 12 times what a Power Pack has in only 8 times the space.
Wow. So, I mean, calling it a MegaPack is almost an insult.
It should be called a 2.6 MegaPack.
Right. It is a 2.6 MegaPack.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of juice.
So the California Public Utilities Commission approved PG&E's new Moss Landing Station. Let's see it on the map here so we know what we're talking about. They did this last month. So when completed in 2020, the entire project will replace 3 gas peaker plants. The Moss Landing Battery Project will be the largest of its kind in the world, said Kurt Morgan, Vistra's president and CEO. Now, who is Vistra?
They are the contractor working for PG&E.
Gotcha. So Elon said back in May of 2015, remember all those years ago, that Tesla batteries could power the country. Let's hear what he said.
What I want to do is explore what is needed, what's really needed to transition the world to sustainable energy. Is this actually possible? Is it something that is within the ability of humanity to actually do, or is it some insurmountable, super difficult, impossible thing? It's not. So with 160 million power packs, you can transition the United States.
Man, that is a great video. We'll put the link down below. If you want to watch the whole thing, I encourage you to.
So just 3 years ago, he said this. So we did a back of the envelope calculation to see, how many of these battery storage facilities would we need? And we came up with approximately what?
13,000 of these size battery storage facilities in the United States.
Okay, so that sounded kind of big to us. We're like, I don't know, is that possible? But then we did some more research and we found out that there are 8,652 power plants in the United States right now that generate at least 1 megawatt of power. So 8,000 or 9,000 power plants, 13,000 battery storage facilities. We're talking the same order of magnitude.
Right. When we're talking about the power infrastructure in this country, there's 55,000 substations.
What's a substation?
So you'll probably see them driving around. It looks like this big, crazy electronics thing. It's basically stepping down the power from the transmission lines to your local area. There is 450,000 miles of high voltage transmission line. So, when we're talking grid-sized, infrastructure, there is a lot of it. It's a lot to maintain. It's a lot to build, and the benefits to society are humongous.
So what you're saying here is that basically, if we replaced all the existing power plants with these battery storage facilities, it would be pretty much a 1-to-1.
Right. Keep in mind that you still have to have enough solar and wind and other renewable sources of energy to make up for the coal, gas burning plants that you'd be shutting down.
But look at this chart, right?
Right. This is the price of solar over time. It is approaching zero, basically.
Right.
Producing electricity using solar and wind are the 2 cheapest forms of power in the United States right now.
Right.
So it does not make any economic sense to build a new coal power plant. And in fact, many of them are being shut down because it is cheaper to just build solar, build wind, and replace your old dying infrastructure that needs to constantly be maintained. This is the change that's happening. Now, a lot of people would like to be like, oh, well, look at how many battery stations you'd have to do. That's crazy. And it's like, no, you don't have to do it all in the same year. You do it over time as you slowly ramp down, as all of these peaker plants and coal power plants begin to get older and harder to maintain and begin to, deteriorate. take them offline, and replace them with solar and wind.
Right. Now, take a look at this footage that just came out from Tesla. This is of the Giga Factory 1. You're seeing it being built here, which is really cool. But keep in mind, it's only 30% complete, and it's already the highest volume battery plant in the world.
Right. I can't believe it. Like, when I look at it, my brain thinks that it has to be more than 30% complete. I'm thinking 70%, but it's really not even close to being done. Already the highest volume battery plant in the world. The most batteries come out of this building than any other building in the world.
There's already 4 or 5 dozen of these plants being planned for around the world to be online from different companies in the next few years.
Right, and this is exactly what Elon wanted. He wanted there to be these gigafactories in the world producing the batteries that we need to make this planet happen.
Think about how crazy it was when he announced the Gigafactory 1. Okay, before it was even built, he just showed a picture of what it would look like, and people were like, that's crazy. The biggest building in the world. Now, a few years later, all these companies all throughout the world are planning on building gigafactories or actually building them as we speak.
Right.
So what sounded crazy just a few years ago, like when we started the show, is now actually happening, and billions of dollars worth of money is being poured into them. Amazing how much that change has happened. You know what else is amazing? I got this in my email, Jesse.
You got an invitation to the Boring Company party?
Yeah. What do you think? You want to go? It's going to be tomorrow night.
No, I have to go to work. I mean, like, I can't. If only there was a fast way to go from one side of the country to the other.
I know.
Unfortunately, at the moment, it doesn't exist.
I guess I can't go either. I gotta watch the guys, make sure everything gets done.
Aren't you the boss?
That's right. I'm the boss.
Yeah.
I'm the boss. I'm going to go to the party.
All right.
All right.
So the guys will have to be unsupervised.
Do you think we can trust them to be unsupervised for a while?
Definitely.
Well, get this then. Check out this tweet that came in of what's being built across from SpaceX.
I don't think that's that looks like it's in Italy or something.
No. See, that's the rocket. That's SpaceX headquarters.
Oh, I thought that was like the tower in Florence. Like, because when it's very small and far away, it looks like
Yeah, the famous tower in Florence.
yeah, that one. But this one, you're saying okay, so this is in Hawthorne, California.
That's made out of bricks from the tunnel. Those are boring bricks.
So that's California dirt.
California dirt, and I think that's right at the tunnel entrance. I'm just conjecturing here that we might be able to, like, maybe part of the elevators in the tower or something. I don't know. Maybe Elon's gonna be at the top of the tower taunting us. Maybe there's gonna be guards speaking French. I don't know. It's gonna be exciting, and I'm gonna bring you guys there, and I'll live stream it when I get there.
Yeah, we did a test the other day for live streaming, so Zach's up on it.
I know how to do it now.
He knows how to do it.
I'm
so
technologically ready.
all right, well, have fun.
I'm going to have a boring time. So Elon just tweeted out, if you have a Tesla built in the past 2 years, definitely try Navigate on Autopilot. It will blow your mind.
Yeah, I have it on my car. So a lot of people are saying, Jesse, you didn't buy Autopilot. True, but I did get a 30-day free trial.
That is great marketing.
To get you hooked, because I am just like, oh! I'm on the highway, right? And you can set it to Mad Max mode, where it's just like, do you want to pass this guy? Do you want to pass this guy? Do you want to pass this guy? And you can be like, yes, pass it. And then it's like, okay, passing. And it just does it. And then you get to the exit, and it's like, hey, you should get over a couple lanes so that way we can get to the exit. And then it'll just take the exit for you.
Yeah, it says automatically passes slow cars and takes highway interchanges and off-ramps, already testing traffic lights, stop signs, and roundabouts in development software. Your Tesla will soon be able to go from your garage at home to parking at work with no driver input at all. We are awaiting EU regulatory approval for this release.
Right. So a lot of people seem to think that whatever's in the cars is the latest and greatest at Tesla. No. They have development software. They need to test things before they release it. They don't just like, and period, and send.
They just send it to Elon's car and he tests it.
Right, which is, don't do that.
Right.
Please, someone at Tesla be like, Elon, don't worry. We will get you a camera rig or something. We'll set up a 360 camera and get you, here's the VR headset.
He shouldn't be the alpha tester. He should be the beta tester.
So, I mean, there are, they're working on stop signs, stop lights, the things that it can't do right now.
Look what else they're working on. Tesla has patented more accurate GPS. So technologies for vehicle positioning was filed last year and was made public this week. So what is this patent that we're talking about?
So what it is it allows the camera sensors to match a known landmark and its known physical location an offset to the car to accurately calculate where the car is. So, I mean, you can do this with a compass and a map. If you are like, oh, okay, that tower over there is at this, azimuth, and then you're like, oh, and that thing over there is at this azimuth, then I draw 2 lines, and
you know
boom,
exactly
I know
where
where
you
I
are.
am on the map. This is able to do that in real time, to just be like, telephone pole, stop sign. I think that what this is going to be used for is in cities with tall buildings where GPS signal has trouble getting down into these very narrow streets. Instead, you can be looking at known telephone poles and have a general idea of where your car is. And your car can be like, I am on 31st and 9th Streets.
In the right lane.
Right.
Right.
And then you have a very accurate position of GPS. So I think that that's just one way that it's going to get even better, because then autopilot can kind of know where it is as well.
Yeah. So much innovation going on at the company.
It's crazy.
Some of our newer viewers may not remember this, but we interviewed our friend Bo from A Better Route Planner. It's this cool software that we visited in Sweden earlier this year. This is this app that you can use even on your Tesla to help you plan your trips. A Better Route Planner has been used to route over 2 million routes so far. One of the things that I think makes it one of the best trip planners out there is the ability to have waypoints. So you know how you get in your Tesla sometimes, you're like, I want to go to grandma's house.
Right.
Oh, but I want to stop and pick her up flowers on the way.
The flowers place might be, way out of the way. And then you'd want to continue on your way to grandma's house. There's no way to be like, I want to go to the flowers place, then grandma's house. Hey, Tesla, do I have enough range?
Right.
It'll be like, you can go to the flowers place. And then you're like, can I go to grandma's house? And it's like, yes, you can go to grandma's house. And it's like, can I do one and then the other? There's no functionality for that.
Right.
This gives you that kind of functionality. It lets you plan trips that are complicated. A lot of trips, especially long distance trips, are pretty complicated. Like, yes, you can just get in the car and be like, navigate to the other side of the country, and it will give you a route that will work. But if you're like, and I want to stop at the largest ball of twine in
Kansas,
it's not going to be able to tell you how to do that.
Right. And if that weren't cool enough, you can plan a trip in the comfort of your home and then log in once you get into your Tesla, and your route will pop up and update as you're driving. And all of this data from our cars gets analyzed by a Better Route Planner and helps it make more accurate for you and everyone else. So what do I mean? Everybody drives differently, right? You get in your car, maybe this week you're driving a little faster than I am, right? So your energy usage is more than mine, even if I have the exact same car. And so when you want to plan your route, you want to know, is Jesse going to make it to his destination?
Not just will a Tesla Model 3 mid-range make it from here to there. It's will Jesse driving a mid-range Model 3 make it from here to there. It'll say charge for longer because you're going to need that power because you're going to be driving super fast. Or it might go the other way. You can be like, oh, you could charge for 15 less minutes than someone else because you drive really slowly.
Right. So, I mean, we're really stoked about this software because it's really specific to you. And all this data gets shared back to a Better Route Planner so that they can help the whole community, which is really cool. In fact, Bo was telling me that the Model 3 is the long trip champion because now he has all this data from the Model 3 because it's so super efficient. For instance, he did this little cool chart here. He did the optimal speed for a 1,000 kilometer road trip if you had 200 kilometer legs. So take a look at this chart, and it tells you some interesting data here, which is it tells you, I mean, you obviously wouldn't travel this fast, but because he's got the data, he can figure out what speed you could travel to be the most efficient.
Wow, and look how efficient the Model 3 is.
A Better Route Planner now supports EVs from 10 manufacturers, so not just Tesla. And what I thought was also cool is Bo said the number one people that use this aren't even EV owners yet. They're people who are thinking about getting EVs, and they want to see like, okay, if I bought a BMW i3 or a Nissan Leaf or a Tesla Model 3, could I do the things I want to do?
Right.
And let me test out this route.
And I think that that's really smart. If you are someone who is sold on getting a Model 3 or a Model S or a Leaf or whatever, but maybe your significant other is saying, I don't think that's going to work for our needs. This is one way where you can find out who's right.
Right.
Which is always the best thing in a relationship is to find out who's right.
I thought it was, I'm sorry.
Well,
may not want to listen to us on this one,
you
folks.
can see who's the older one who's been in a relationship longer. But what I'm saying is it's maybe can make someone feel a little bit better if they realize, oh, okay, the trip to my mom's house isn't going to, be 10 times longer, or we're not going to get stuck somewhere along the way.
Right.
It'll be fine. So this is a really interesting story. This is a picture that comes to us from Europe, and it is of a dual connector supercharger.
Boring.
No. You don't get this. So the Model 3s that are going to Europe are going to have a CCS connector, which is brand new for Tesla.
Okay.
Tesla has always had kind of their own charger, something that you might need an adapter for. In Europe, it was the Type 2, but it was a modified Type 2.
This means that they're not going to be able to charge superchargers anymore.
Well, that's what the picture's all about. There are 2 plugs at one supercharging station. So you have a CCS charger and you have your regular supercharger.
Oh.
So this means that the new Model 3s will be able to charge using the CCS in Europe. And I think that this is really important.
That like doubles the number of chargers they can use.
Right, because there are a lot of other CCS charging stations in Europe.
Oh, I didn't get that
like
before.
Already, and there's more to come because VW has to make them.
So I was so confused. So now basically at these superchargers, there's going to be both plugs.
Right, and a lot of people were worried that Tesla was going to come in and kind of cannibalize like half the superchargers to put in CCS plugs, and then you'd have like these... you'd arrive at a supercharger and half of the superchargers would be useless to you. That is not the case. Tesla is usually more clever than what most people would assume is going to happen. So it means for people who drive Model S's and X's, everything remains the same. For people who are driving their new Model 3s, they get the same supercharger network as everyone else, but they also can charge at other CCS charging spots. Now, Tesla is also going to be making a CCS adapter, which is something that we have not seen before yet.
Oh, okay.
Basically, there have been CHAdeMO adapters because electronically it's very similar, but Tesla is now going to make a CCS DC fast charging adapter, which is great because it's going to open it up to basically everyone.
So in Model 3 Europe news continued here, we hear, according to Focus TV and International Car Operators, ICO, which is a port handling and storage company which specializes in roll-on, roll-off cargo in the port of Zeebrugge, Belgium, we hear that there are an expected 3,000 Model 3 vehicles per week that should be expected in February of 2019 to be delivered.
Yes, this will mean over 100 new jobs prepping the cars for when they arrive. And I think most importantly for people watching is there'll be 3,000 Model 3s a week coming to Europe. Yeah. This is going to be huge. I know that people in Europe right now are saying, like, I just can't imagine what it's like to see Model 3s. Let me tell you, it's great. Because, especially if you're in one and you see another Model 3 and you can be like, do the Tesla wave, which, by the way, is when you're in auto, you have to be in autopilot, but it's two-handed wave.
And speaking of new places to see or sit in a Tesla, there's 11 new Tesla mall stores in the U.S. that just opened last week. These are opening in smaller and less high-end malls. And the reason for this is to get foot traffic. Now, you may remember that last year, Tesla claimed that they beat Apple stores, which has a $5,500 per square foot sales figure.
So every year, every square foot of an Apple store
sells $5,500 worth of stuff.
Even the corners, huh?
Even in the corners they do. Yep. Even that corner with the plant is selling that much.
It's on average, right? Okay.
I mean, Elon said last year, I think our sales per square foot are so high you need a telescope to see who's in second place. It's like stupidly high.
Right. I mean, this is because they don't have quite as many stores as Apple stores.
Well, and they're selling cars.
And they're selling cars, which are typically more expensive than
But let's just think
iPhones.
about this for a second, right? Because Tesla now has 120 stores, galleries, and service centers in the U.S. Think about another car company which has a place in the mall where they sell their cars.
Oh, they have that. You've never been to a mall where they have a car sitting in the middle of the mall?
I've seen a car sitting in the middle of a mall, and that's because it is effective to have people walking past your car. But this is a place where you can actually get in the car and then sign up for test rides and sign up for solar and batteries and so forth.
I think that test drives should be instituted at every mall that they're going to.
I totally agree.
think that there is no excuse for you to not have test drives.
I'll go one step further.
Yeah?
I think every employee who works at these stores, once they've gotten to like the 6-month level or once they've gotten to the loyalty trust level, should get the car to take home every night.
Or at least on the weekends or something like that.
No, I think every night. Because if your employees drive the car all the time, they're going to be selling it so much better.
It's true. They won't be able to stop talking about
and they'll know all the answers. Because right now, one of the problems is if you ask some pretty intricate questions about the car, they're going to be like, I don't know, I don't drive it.
You need to experience the car in order to sell it. Once you've experienced the car, it is so easy to sell it because the confidence of you being like, you're going to love this car. You cannot find that anywhere else.
No.
The VW Neo ID has been spotted. This is Volkswagen's all-electric Neo ID, or ID hatchback, which, according to Volkswagen, should come to the European market at the end of 2019.
We saw the concept unveiled 2 years ago, and now this camouflage test model was spotted in South Africa, of all places. It's going to have 3 different batteries. So it's going to have a 330 kilometer, a 450 kilometer, or a 550 kilometer battery. And that range is the WLTP range.
So it's a little rosy.
But it should cost less than $30,000 for the starting price model. And that's before incentives.
I mean, I think that is
an
on
exciting
par
price.
with the Model 3. I would be excited to see it. Again, we saw the concept for this over 2 years ago. So I am always hesitant when I tell people about stuff like this because it always feels like
It's coming.
It's coming. Oh, get excited about it. And it's this long hype train with very little to show.
But, I mean, reservations with a deposit should open soon. And according to Autocar, VW is planning to reveal their luxury 7-seat SUV called ID Lounge in April of 2019 at the Shanghai Motor Show. And then what's this one, Jesse? A beach buggy?
They're thinking of a 2-seater beach buggy, which is expected to be unveiled in the second half of 2019.
I think they should ditch the beach buggy and just keep focusing on real cars that real people need. I don't know.
I mean,
is beach buggy really a needed class of car at the moment?
I think that it's a fun class of car. You know, if you're going on the beach, it should be in an electric car, I would argue, because, I mean, there's no need to go polluting the beach that you're going to go drive to.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's good. You don't need a huge range. But anyway, let's talk about some other electric cars.
This one excites me. You remember this one from Xiaopeng Motors, the Xpeng G3? And it's a very Tesla-looking car.
Right.
Remember? This is the one where basically they kind of copied the interior and some of the exterior.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the interior of this, it's pretty hard to differentiate which one's the Model S and which one's the Jipang.
But you know how you can differentiate it?
How?
Starting price. Look at this. $33,000 before subsidies.
Right. Now, we're talking in China. So this car is selling in China.
Right.
So we don't know what it doesn't have to meet the same safety standards as an American car.
But, I mean, the cost for the car with incentives could be as low as $19,800 in some Chinese cities.
That's fantastic. Apparently, they are offering 2 different battery packs with very similar NEDC ranges. So the lower pack is 351 kilometers, and the larger pack is 365 kilometers.
Wait.
That is
14-kilometer difference?
That's 14-kilometer difference or 9-mile difference.
What, do they just hand you a handful of batteries?
It's
here's a few more batteries.
Right. I don't know.
You know what's cool is that the autonomous driving sensors were designed by Junli Gu, who used to be the head of Tesla's machine learning.
And just to know where all this money is coming from, Xiaopeng is being backed by Foxconn and Alibaba. So, I mean, that's a lot of money. It is new money, I would argue.
Money.
But
money still the same color.
Money going for EVs is good. You talked about, when we were talking about the VW Beach Buggy, you're saying, is that a kind of car that everyone drives?
Right.
Like, is this an important car? And here we're going to talk about a car that is not for everybody.
Oh, this is the Lotus, what are they calling it?
They are codenaming it the Omega. It is a hypercar, 1,000 horsepower, $2.5 million starting price. Ooh. I want to talk about hypercars for a second. A lot of people are down on hypercars. They say this is stupid. Why do we need hypercars? We need to, we need to be making affordable cars for regular people.
Yep.
And I agree. I'm not saying that, this is, oh, how wonderful. I can't wait for everyone I know to be driving around in a Lotus Omega. But the point here is that all of these car manufacturers, they have a long heritage of producing vehicles, are now switching over to electrics. And they can't really get into the market of mass market electric cars because that's a heck of a lot of batteries. One way you can do this is by making a hypercar. You only need to make like 5 and you sell to 5 very rich dudes and boom, you've just made yourself a whole bunch of money.
Right.
Very high profit margins and stuff like that. And the important thing, the reason that I think it's important is that it gets people excited about going electric. It gets people looking at a car like the Omega and going, oh, I love Lotuses. This is a Lotus, and it's electric, and it has 1,000 horsepower. Damn, I want that car. And you're not going to buy that car. That's fine. Like most people are, you put
Just got a poster on the wall.
Poster on the wall of the Lotus Omega, and you go, gee, I can't, that's...
Gonna go dream about it.
Right. And then, when it's time to buy a car... and you're, looking between, the Model 3 and the BMW, you're going to go, I'm going to do electric because I've heard about all the cool things that the Lotus Omega can do.
Good point. And keep in mind that Geely, the Chinese automaker, they own a major stake in the British company.
Geely also owns Volvo, which is interesting. And that's why we've been seeing a lot of electrification of Volvo vehicles.
It's true. All right, it's time for the lightning round.
Here we go.
All right, so Tesla might reveal the pickup truck in 2019. Here is what was said on Twitter. Larry said, when can I order my pickup truck, Elon? Elon said,
I'm dying to make a pickup truck so bad we might have a prototype to unveil next year. Next year is like in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
I don't know when next year, but...
going to be an exciting year.
At least it's within 400 days, right?
Yeah. In case you missed it, the 2019 Hyundai Kona Electric is an all-electric crossover with the 258-mile range, a 64-kilowatt-hour battery, so very similar to the Model 3 in terms of range and battery size. And the U.S. price was just released. What is it?
$36,450. That is before any incentives or tax credits. Other model trim prices will be announced soon. Keep in mind, Tesla is losing their tax credit if nothing changes on Capitol Hill.
Whereas Hyundai isn't.
Hyundai hasn't sold hardly any electric cars, so this will last for quite a long time.
So we're talking like a $26,000 starting price with the most tax credits. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Now, Johnny and Robert over at Fully Charged recently had a great video all about the Kona, so you should check it out here. And we just ran a Patreon poll about the Kona, so let's see what our Patreon said.
Wow, so a lot of people say that it does not have the features that they want. So it's interesting. It has the range, and it has the price. I think that one of the biggest features that it doesn't have is supercharging.
Right.
So I think that is probably the limiting factor for these 93 people who are saying, I don't want it.
Maybe the Model Y is factoring in here because they're like, this is probably what the Model Y will offer and more.
It's possible. We have no idea what the Model Y is going to be doing. Infiniti announced last week that it will preview a vision for its first fully electric crossover at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit in January. And here is a teaser image of the concept car. Infiniti says that all new models after 2021 will have electric powertrains. Keep in mind that could mean just mild hybrids, so don't get too excited. They said electrified vehicles will comprise more than half of the Infiniti global sales by 2025. So it's exciting. We're looking forward to seeing what they come out with in January.
Now, didn't we just do a couple reports on the Ford Mustang being turned into an electric car?
This is another one. This is Aviar Motors. They are making the R67, a two-seat coupe, 100-kilowatt-hour battery pack, which is a lot bigger than the other one, which is 507 kilometers of range, 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds. So that is Model S territory. 250 kilometers an hour top speed, 840 horsepower, 2 motors, all-wheel drive. Adaptive air suspension, Tesla Model S like door handles that slide out.
Those look like exactly like them.
It does look exactly like them. It has an anti-wing spoiler, kind of like Sparky has, and a Model S or X-like screen. This, to me, screams what the market wants. They want a classic car that is all electric. These are all one-off cars. So, you have to call to get a quote for how much these are going to cost, which means that they're going to cost a lot of money. It's going to, if you were on the phone with them, you'd be like, oh, it's that much money. Okay, never mind. I'll call you back. It shows that there's a market for this. Yeah. And again, if the auto manufacturers would just do it, if they would just make classic cars,
it would work.
It would work.
Yeah. Hire us as consultants. We'll tell you that.
We know exactly what people are thinking.
Model S Next still hold the best value. Autolist now states that the Model S declined on average by 27% after accumulating 50,000 miles. In comparison, the firm says that the overall segment declined by the average of 36% after 50,000 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, take a look at that chart here. And also, Model X is doing even better, according to Autolist. A Model X with 50,000 miles on it saw its value decline 23% from its original list price. The next closest model in the segment was the Lincoln Navigator, which dropped in value by an average of 34%. The BMW X5 fared the worst in the segment, slipping an average of 37%.
Right. So, I mean, people who have bought their Model S's and X's, if they're
Holding on to
going
them.
to sell them to buy their Model 3 or whatever, they're going to have a nice surprise when they go to sell them because it's not going to depreciate in value as much as other cars very similar to it.
So Formula E is starting up again soon with their races. We went and saw races in Formula E last year up in Montreal. So what's different this year?
They have their Gen 2 cars. Okay. So the older cars had a pretty small battery pack, which meant that they couldn't do the whole race on that battery pack. They had to swap cars, which is weird for racing because it's usually all about the car. And if all of a sudden you're getting in a brand new car to go zip around the second half of the race, I don't know, it's kind of funny. So now that with the Gen 2 cars, they can do the whole race with just one car.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
It's way higher performance, so the races are going to be much more exciting.
They sound like TIE fighters going around the turns.
Yeah, they do.
So Tesla is seeking $167 million in damages from Martin Tripp. Remember who Martin Tripp was?
Yes, he was the alleged whistleblower / saboteur of Tesla. He claimed that Tesla was installing punctured battery cells inside Model 3 packs that were being delivered to customers, and he sued Tesla for $1 million.
Now, a lot of people have said, you shouldn't sue him for $167 million. He doesn't have that kind of money. You're ruining his entire life.
Right.
And to that I say, first of all, if they do win for the whole amount, which I highly doubt, there's something called bankruptcy. And so I assume he'll just declare bankruptcy and move on with his life. But he allegedly did something bad, and I don't think that alleged criminals should get off just because they can't afford to take the punishment.
Right. As the justice system stands as it is today, it's you can't commit a crime and then be like, oh, but I couldn't spend the rest of my life in prison.
I got things to do.
I have a life. That's not how it works.
No, but he did hurt their business. I mean, he came up with stories that would make people think twice about buying a car. Oh my gosh, there's punctured batteries in my car?
Right. And so Tesla is doing what they kind of have to do, which is to defend themselves. They have to sue him. This I thought was an interesting story. Daimler is buying $20 billion in battery contracts.
Dieter Zeisch, the chairman of Daimler, said, our electric offensive continues to gain momentum. After investing billions of euros in the development of the electric fleet and the expansion of our global battery network, we are now taking the next step. With the purchase of battery cells for more than 20 billion euros, we are systematically pushing forward with the transformation into the electric future of our company. We plan a total of 130 electrified variants at Mercedes-Benz cars by 2022. In addition, we will have electric vans, buses, and trucks. I think, first of all, it's harder to do it if you want to build your own factories. It's a lot quicker to just be like, contract signed, go make me some batteries. Secondly, I think that you don't believe in that technology. I think that you say to yourself, batteries, it's good for the next couple of years, but that can't be what's going to be in cars forevermore, so I don't want to invest in it.
Are you thinking lithium ion, or are you thinking...
I think they think there's some magical new thing that's going to happen and that they don't want to invest in just lithium ion. So I think that's another reason why they don't want to do it.
So
also, I don't think they know how to do it. I don't think they have the engineering. I think it would set them back quite a long time, whereas SK Innovation and Panasonic and LG Chem, they already know how to do it.
Right. So they're hoping that they're going to get the jump on Tesla when the solid state batteries come out.
Right. Tesla has just patented a glass augmented reality, kind of like Google Glass. And so if you remember this footage from 2016, Tesla tried using Google Glass in their factory to help employees significantly increase the speed and efficiency related to manufacturing, and in particular to the manufacturing of automobile parts and vehicles. So now they're trying again with this patent, we think, to somehow make it so that employees will be wearing glass and be able to like virtually see, oh, these are the parts that need to go into that thing over there, without having to like pick up a iPad or whatever. Could be a time saver.
It could be a time saver. It's exciting. It's just exciting to see the level of innovation that's happening at Tesla.
It's time for our video contributor story, and what we've got this week is Boris from Germany.
Hi Zach and Jesse, this is Boris from the wonderful land of Germany, where first automobile was invented and diesel engines are notoriously clean. So last weekend of October I went with my family to a E4 festival at the Hockenheim Ring racing track which is a pretty big 2-day event dedicated to electromobility in Germany. And it covers everything from electric scooters to bikes, all the way to cars, with almost every electric car make on sale in Europe available for a test drive on the famous Formula 1 track of Hockenheim. So despite the worst weather imaginable, drizzling rain and around 4 degrees Celsius, below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, quite some electric mobility enthusiasts flocked to try out the latest e-cars. My personal highlights were the 3 Model 3s, which are still not available in Europe, but which were made available by an electric rental startup called Nextmove, who brought Tesla Model 3s from the US. It was the first time I got to sit in one, and it was really exciting. Another interesting company was Street Scooter. I'll put the link so you can check it out. They make electric light utility vehicles, and it is a subsidiary of a DHL. I think Zach and Jesse mentioned them once in the Tesla Time News. I was surprised to find out that they produced by now over 10,000 vehicles, and they have production in 2 sites in Germany, and one could actually test drive their practical delivery vans and pickups at the event. So all in all, it was a really interesting event, and I hope it will become a regular one and attract more attention as the electromobility becomes more mainstream. Now you know. Back to you, Zach and Jesse.
It was an interesting show. I'm surprised the number of people who turned up for what looked like terrible weather.
It is tough when it's bad.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. So if you'd like to go check those out this week, if you're new to the channel, you may be like, what are they talking about? Patreon bonus stories. If you become a Patreon of our show, that means you support us. And for as little as $1 a month, you can watch all of our Patreon bonus stories. So head on over to Patreon and check them out and support us on the show. And I think you'll be glad you did. All right, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories, and it's time for our Patreon shoutouts. These are people who give us $5 or more a month, and they keep our show going. So, who do we got this week, Jesse?
We have Grady Bowers,
Kyle Mahan,
PHP,
Stefan Kuhlhauser,
Lezkek Grizzle,
Brian Aselson,
Helena Natasha Isabel Christensen,
Emil Christensen,
Maxwell D. Osborne,
Kenny Green,
Mike Ball,
Victor Torrey,
Leo Braz,
Anders Stromgren,
Pascal Hureo.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for supporting us. Really, really do appreciate it.
We can't make this show possible without those people.
All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week.
Here we go.
So Elon tweeted out, buying Tesla.com took over a decade, $1 million, an amazing amount of effort. Didn't like TeslaMotors.com, even when we were only making cars. Daniel Watkins said, thought the Roadster was basically a Lotus Elise modified to EV. Regardless, it looks similar to the T0. Elon said,
it was supposed to be, but that was a dumb decision. In the end, Roadster only had 7% of parts common with the Lotus Elise or any other car.
I just love his honesty.
Yeah, I mean,
Dumb decision.
It shows that he learns a lot.
Elon also said this week, love that people are buying a Tesla for the product itself, even if they don't believe in climate change. Not everyone can be convinced about global warming, but if an electric car is simply the best product, they don't need to be.
Right, and this is in response to a guy who has a magazine, doesn't believe in climate change, but still liked the Model 3.
Great.
That is so awesome. That is why we like the Model 3. It is not like a Leaf where you're like, I'm saving the planet. And that's the only reason I bought the car.
Right.
It's like, I want a car that's awesome. I want that car. Mm-hmm. Planet? What planet? I go fast.
Business Insider tweeted out, Elon Musk has stopped meetings to watch Monty Python clips. Report. Elon said,
this part is true. I was trying to explain that we don't want our cars to have a tinny sound.
Now, you have to watch this Monty Python clip that we'll put in the show notes below.
And I think we'll also make a card over here. Okay. So you can click on that and watch.
That's if you want to understand the mind of Elon. This is where he gets from. So I think that's interesting. Yes, he does stop meetings sometimes where he's like, oh, everybody, you got to watch this. That's great. That resets your creativity. That gets everyone back in a positive mood. I
Right,
think
you
that's-
shouldn't be like, oh, boring. If you look at the 4th page of the report, you'll see that there's some boring news. Boring. He does that at the Boring Company, I'm assuming. But
Then Eric Idle responded to him, and Eric Idle, obviously one of Monty Python, said, "It's clear that Elon Musk was playing his workforce Woody and Tinny from Series 4 to tell them he did not want the 3 to sound tinny. Rather wonderfully, they were making my car, and I love it." Elon said,
exactly. Cool. They're making Eric Idle's car.
Yeah.
If you are a Monty Python fan,
how awesome is
how
that?
awesome is that?
I thought Business Insider was rather tinny with their reporting.
Yes, well, it's a good thing that our report was nice and woody.
Our friend Keith said he got his Model 3 in November and has been on business for a few weeks and been forced to drive an ICE rental. And he says, "This work trip is helping me appreciate my new car that much more."
Yeah, and you should be looking for Model 3 rentals. There are a lot of them.
Our friend Mary up in Canada let us know that she got her Model 3 before she even knew about us. And then once she got it, of course, she needs to find more about Teslas. So she found out about us. And she heard us one day talking about going to your Drive Electric Week event. So she found one in her area, went to it, and then guess what?
What?
She now works there.
What?
Click on the plugandrive.canada link down below so you can check out where she works. And they help educate people about electric cars.
That's
Good
awesome.
for you. Check out this ad, Jesse. This is in the UK. It's an ad on a gas pump that was sent to us from our friend Kevin, and it says 348 miles per gallon. Inconceivable until now. The 100% electric Nissan Leaf.
First of all, getting that advertisement on a gas pump to me is inconceivable.
Yeah.
Inconceivable!
It's like, oh, hey, business, do you want us? We'll pay you money to advertise for a thing that will put you out of business.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think they just don't believe it. or something.
Inconceivable.
It is.
They're sitting there going, well, that would be inconceivable.
Inconceivable!
Our friend Maria sent us this photo from Aarhus, Denmark. This is the night before. Ooh. I wonder what's under there.
What's under that?
And Hans in the Netherlands said, today, Tesla opened the biggest store in Europe, in Eindhoven, where they started small in 2012 with one Roadster. Now they have 54,000 square feet, enough room for dozens of cars, big service center, and energy products, well located near major highways and home to mobile service Tesla Rangers.
That is so cool. It's actually really, really close to the Build Your Own Robot team's headquarters.
Oh, really?
He said it's 500 meters away. He's going to be working on a video contributor story so we can actually take a good long look at it.
Nice.
Super exciting.
Love that. And our friend Paul saw this north of Las Vegas. Is it a Fisker Karma 2.0?
Yeah, so he sent us this 3 pictures.
Okay.
And I was like, what? Could it be? It looks like a Dodge Viper in the front and a European car in the back. And I was like, and it has to be electric. So I was looking through all the old electric cars. The Fisker Karma came out back in 2012, I believe.
And that was a hybrid?
It was a hybrid, and it didn't sell very many, but it's the same body shape. You can look at it down to the door handles. It's the same car. And I'm just wondering if anyone knows anything about this, because it's camouflaged north of Las Vegas.
Right. Why?
Why?
Yeah.
So if anyone has any information, please contact us, leave a comment, whatever. You can get in touch with us at Zach@nowyouknowchannel.com or
on our Facebook
on our
channel.
Facebook. So if you have any ideas, let us know.
All right, it's time for our Patreon viewer question of the week. And we have Kenneth who asks, what is the earliest model Tesla, any Tesla, that can upload this version 9 software? Mm-hmm. And so that is a big question. A lot of people are like, what? Is it only certain cars? Version 9 software, for some of us, will have drive on nav, and for some it won't. So any car after October 2016 has the cameras and the hardware to do version 2 autopilot,
right,
which means that it can do drive on nav.
And so if you're looking at any Tesla, if it has more than just the 2 cameras in the front and the one in the rear, it'll have, right where it has that Tesla logo on the side, there'll be a camera there pointing back. And on the B pillar, there will be cameras pointing a little bit forward.
Right.
So that's how you can tell if you can do drive on nav. But you were saying...
Right. So, I mean, Sparky, my March 2016 Model X, which only has Autopilot 1, it can still have version 9 software. I have it installed, but I can't do drive on nav. I can do Atari games. I do have the new GUI interface and all the new nav like looks and stuff, but I just can't do the drive on nav features. I'll always be kind of stuck in that autopilot world.
Right.
So I hope that answers your question. So if you want the latest, greatest, you have to make sure you have a car that has Autopilot 2.0. All right, it's time for Supercharger reviews. Take it away, awesome reviewers.
Hello, Jesse and Zach. This is Thomas from Finland. I'm at the Tesla supercharging station here in Paimio, near city of Turku. This is about 20 kilometers or 15 miles from Turku. The freeway behind me is freeway number 1 or highway number 1 going to Helsinki, which is about 150 kilometers or 90 miles away. We have an 8-stall behind me. There's currently one S Model S charging, and this is one of the only supercharging stations we have here in southern Finland, and it's quite convenient location next to a gas station called ABC. It has a fast food burger place, Hesburger, and also a restaurant and a small convenience store. Out of amenities, I would rate this probably in at least in Finland 9 out of 10. And the location is also convenient by the big freeway. It's 4:30 p.m. here. We are quite high up in the north, in the same altitude roughly as Anchorage in Alaska. So all of our Tesla drivers are used to winter conditions. And it's right now -4 degrees Celsius, which is about 25 Fahrenheit. So already quite cold outside. No snow, unfortunately. Keep up the good work, and greetings from Finland.
Hey Jack and Jesse, we are here in the beautiful city of Krynica in Poland. We actually came here from Slovakia for a road trip, and to our surprise we have found a destination charger here in the President Wellness Hotel. This is really actually cute little spa, like wellness city, so there's a lot of things to see here. There are really cute Polish houses here, and the hotel itself is nice. However, we rate this destination charger 8 out of 10 because there's a problem with the parking. There's not enough space actually, and currently this destination charger is iced because there are too many ice cars here, not enough electric cars. And second of all, if you actually want to come here and charge your car, you have to be accommodated in the hotel and have a parking card. So that's why we rated 8 out of 10, but it's still amazing to find a destination charger here. So back to you.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, this is Mike. I am here at the Cle Elum, Washington supercharger site. 12 superchargers, a bit off the freeway, about 5 minutes up and over. I-90 east, about 100 miles from Seattle. It's a good stop. There isn't much going on here though. It's out in the middle of nowhere. There's a little drive-through, so there are some facilities here. It's pretty cold. It's easy to get to, good stop, lots of chargers, and actually level 2 charger and CHAdeMO CCS charger also. So good facilities for charging, not so great for food, facilities, places to go. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 though. It's got good 12 charging stations here and easy to get to off of I-90. Now you know.
Hey Zach and Jesse, and now you know, I'm here at the Tesla Supercharger in Fort Worth. It's just off of West 7th Street, and there's another Tesla actually pulling in, but it's brand new, just opened today. We got 16 chargers right here. Looks like they got some of the newer models here, and there is a shopping center right behind me with a ton of stuff at it, and there's a homemade barbecue joint right across the street. Pretty good location. Not the best, because you might want to get an Uber, especially if it's cold, or here in Texas, really hot in the summer. So I'll give this about an 8 out of 10 overall. Checking out. See you later.
That was great. And for people who don't know, if you visit a supercharger or a Tesla destination charger, you can take a video, make sure it's in landscape, which means it's the long way, not the tall way. And you can upload it to our website at nowyouknowchannel.com/supercharger reviews, and you can
It'll go live.
It'll go live, and basically when people are taking trips, they can see it, and we might just happen to grab yours and put it on the show.
That's right. All right, so what do we got for new superchargers this week?
We have got a lot. We have a 10-stall supercharger in Shenyang at the Heping Kerry Center in China.
The 10-stall at Zhengzhou at the high-tech New District in China.
The 10-stall in Shanghai at the Omal in China.
A 12-stall urban at Fort Worth Whitmore Street in Texas.
The 6-stall at the Maroochydore, Queensland supercharger. This is the most northern supercharger in Australia.
Wow, that's cool. A 6-stall in Jinju, South Korea.
A 6-stall in Sangju, South Korea.
A 10-stall in Augusta at Bel Air Frontage Road in Georgia.
And a 12-stall in Alameda, California. So that
Awesome.
was a lot this week.
Yeah. All right, it's time for BFREE. That's businesses for rewarding Elon employees. And this is, if you're an Elon employee of any of his companies, these 90 businesses will give you free and reduced price stuff. And what we've got this week is
101 Express registrations. 30% discount off our published wall prices for smog and registration services. And this is for auto and motorcycle. So if you live in Santa Rosa, California, you can head over there. And if you are an Elon employee, which means you work for Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, any of those companies, Boring Company, you will get a 30% discount if your car needs to register for smog.
That's right. All right, and for our past video, we wanted to plug our Better Route Planner interview that we did when we went to Sweden back in April.
Right.
We got to interview the owner and coder for the company. Really cool. He lets us know all about his software. We think you'll enjoy it, so go check that out.
It's the Patreon giveaway.
And it's time now for our Patreon giveaway. And I want to announce that we've given away a Wind Power CD. This is from our friends Peter and Will Anderson. This is a fantastic jazz CD, and we are giving it away on Patreon. So if you'd like to win it and you're a jazz fan, go over to Patreon. It's free to enter the giveaway. And the first week, we're giving it away to Christopher V. Brown. So I'll be sending one to you, Christopher. Thank you for joining that. We got 2 more weeks on that contest, so head on over there. And now we're going to be giving away something from SFSF. This is the cool t-shirt, sweatshirt, posters, mugs, you name it. All cool designs. Who's our winner this week, Jesse?
See Bruce Stein.
Congratulations, Bruce. We're going to give you a chance to get anything you want over at SFSF. Well, thank you for watching till the end of the show. We've got all these amazing Patreons that you're seeing on the list here. The people who give the most have the bigger names, and then it goes all the way down to the $5 amount. And if you'd like to get on that list, just become a $5 or more Patreon, and you will get on that list so that you'll have end credits on the end of every one of our Tesla Time
Right,
Newses.
once your shout out.
Right, you shout out, and we're up to mid-August now. So, I mean, we're catching up pretty fast, which I think is pretty good. So we're getting to you if we haven't got to you yet. Also, if you like to listen to our show as a podcast, you might be new to watching, and you're like, that was so long, I cannot possibly watch it.
I'll listen to it in the car.
Right, so you can go to Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and even TuneIn. So if you're in a Tesla, for instance, go to TuneIn. First, go into your TuneIn account at home, favorite our podcast, and then when you get into your car, it'll be in your favorites.
Right, which is pretty cool. And if you like this episode, hit the like button. It does this magical thing with the YouTube algorithm, which makes it share it with random people, which is what happened with our in-depth last week, or the week before.
We got a lot.
It got a lot of likes, and it had this, like, usually we have a big spike of views right in the beginning, and it kind of went down. Actually, for you, it went down, and then it just had this whoop. A lot more people were watching it. A lot of people introduced to the channel, which is great. Welcome. If you're new to this channel, welcome. We have a lot of things to watch, a lot of videos. We've been doing this for quite a while.
Yeah. And our new viewers may not know that we're so crazy that if we still have 1 day left on this, if you want to use our referral code for your Model S, X, or Model 3, we are giving a ride in the Tesla Next Generation Roadster. We'll drive to your house anywhere in the US, Canada, and Europe, give you a ride in it just for using our referral code. A lot of other YouTubers have copied us, but we have the original on this.
Yes.
And
it'll probably also involve a Tesla semi-truck.
Probably, because we're probably going to bring the car in the truck.
It depends on where you live and when we're getting the truck.
Right. I mean, you guys might not know that if you're new, but we're number 65 on the list for the Tesla Semi, so we're getting that truck as well.
Right.
And those tires cost a lot less than the roadster tires, so we'll be driving that a lot. Also, if it's the holidays, you might be buying stuff on Amazon. If you use our affiliate links, there's one for the US and one for international.
Yep.
That helps us. We get a few percents of that into our account, and it didn't cost you anything.
Right.
So if you want to support us that way, that would be awesome. And also consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get all of our bonus stories for as little as $1 a month. So head on over there, check it out, see if you like it.
All right. Thank you so much for watching.
Now you know.